Hello friends, this is Laura Lee Calais with Stampin' at the Bird Nest. I am here to show you a cute and simple card. I don't usually, this is not my forte, but I had some and I wanted to share them with you and then show you how you could spice them up a little bit. Okay, so today's card looks like this. And the colors we're using today are Gorgeous Grape. The layer is Highland Heather, white. And then if you want to use blends, or you could use, like I did on this card, I used a little embellishment there. So what we're going to do is all stamping today, with the exception of the bow. But here's some others that I made. This was what I started out with, and instead of doing the purple layers, I just did a Gorgeous Grape layer here. Stamped one flower, stamped the birthday greeting, and then used our triple banner punch to punch that out. This one I went wild and put 3 in a cluster. I brought in another color, and they is also stamped Happy Birthday and punched with the banner punch. This one is my least favorite. I was trying to get in another color, and so I brought in the garden green for a layer, and it didn't do anything for me. So this was a sample that I'll use. And I wrapped, the thing I did different with the bow on this one was I wrapped it completely around the back and tied it. A way to save your ribbon is to either tie it around, let me show you on this one. So pretend your flowers are here. You can put a piece of ribbon here. It saves a lot of ribbon. Put some adhesive here and here, and then you've got a ribbon there. Now if it's longer, I think this one's, oh, that's way longer. Okay, you can tie a bow and let me see, this one's not quite as long. Let's see, I think this will show better. Okay, you make your 2 little bunny ears and do your bow. Then you're going to tack the ends of it around so that you have it tacked on the back, and it'll hold it in place, and then tacked on this side. Okay, so that's just a different way of doing it. So let's see, this is the one we're going to do today. So I'm going to put these others aside. We're going to be using, as I said, Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. Those are our 2 stamps. Inks, I should say. And get everything out here. I'm even going to bring in that garden green. I'll show you what I'm going to do with it in a bit. Now, the name of the stamp set that we're using today is called Petals of Beauty. And this is an online exclusive, or it may have been a craft class that we did. And the flowers are pansies, and they're done as a 2-step. So I'm going to pull out the stamps we're going to use, and let's see, I am going to use this leaf. No, this is the one I like the best. And then I'm going to use my 2 large pansies. Oops. Boy, that was really sticky on there. Okay, now I'm going to set those aside. Now, whenever you're doing two-step stamping, it really doesn't matter which one you stamp first. But the way I'm going to show you today is that I used the background stamp, which is the solid one. There's a little bit of paper on there. I don't want to get inked up. And so I'm going to put it down on a block, and I'm going to use the lightest of my colors, or the lighter one, which is going to be the Highland Heather. So that'll go with that. Now, the second stamp, let me put it up here, has detail. I don't know how well you can see it, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so see how that has the detail of the flower. So it needs to be done in purple, in the darkest one, which is the Gorgeous Grape. And then for the solid piece, I'm going to use the Highland Heather. When I was doing this, I was using a table, and just one of those, 4x2 tables, and I was having trouble getting a clear print. So I started to checked out how it would do using our piercing mat, and it did really well. Now you could use a mouse pad or something with a cushion that's going to give you that little bit of oomph to get into get the print done well. I'm going to start with the center of the card, and like I said, I'm doing it in the lightest color. And do you see this little point here? When we go to the second step, I'm going to be lining up with that point. This is an easy reference for this particular stamp. Sometimes they're not as easy to find a good reference point, but this one is an easy one to line up. Okay, so we've stamped our lightest color, and I'm going to close this up. The next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to test this because it came out really light. So I want to make sure that it was just the surface, or was it that I need to ink up my stamp pad. Okay, here's that little point, and here it is right here. So I'm lining that up. Of course, I don't need to line it up for this. I just need to stamp. Let me see. You know what? I think this needs a little ink. And some of you, I'm sure, have done this before. And others may not know how to do it. We sell re-inkers with our ink pads. And if you're a beginner, you can add this to it later. But I have an ink pad for everything, every color, because I do a lot of stamping. But what I'm advising you to do is, if you have particular colors that you go to all the time, get you a re-inker. These stay really juicy and don't have to be re-inked often, but I've done several classes recently, and this is one of my favorite colors. Now what you do is just drop drops of ink on your ink pad, and then I'm going to take, I find the easiest thing for me is to get a one of these tongue depressors or large popsicle sticks. And what I do is it's just like icing a cake. So you just go back and forth. And then I turn it around and do it again. So we'll see how that does. You can see that I use this on a different color. So when these dry, you can use them. I would use a fresh end, but you can use them again. So I'll let that over there to dry. Okay, let's see how we do this time. Okay. Ink it up real good. Okay. So obviously that was the problem. Look how much better it came out being re-inked. Okay, let's line it up and take care of this flower. Now here is the little pointed part of the flower, and here it is on the detailed stamp. So I'm going to stamp it up real good, and I'm just going to, as close as possible, match up the two. And that did pretty good. Mine don't always come out that well. So what I would recommend is practice on a scratch sheet a few times before you go to your masterpiece. And that was pretty good. Like I said, mine usually, especially when I'm on TV, don't turn out that well. Okay. Oh, and while we have this out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp our happy birthday. The stamp set we're using for this is called Banner Sayings. And it is an online exclusive, so when you go to the Stampin' Up! Website, go to Menu, and then you can find the online exclusives. And these are stamp sets that are not in any of our catalogs, and we refresh them every so often. But this one says, "You are loved. I'm so grateful. You're the sweetest." Let's see, there's that one. Consider yourself blessed, I believe. Okay, wishing you. My contacts are not doing real well today. Consider yourself hugged. Wishing you good things. I can't thank you enough. Happy birthday. Here's to you. You did it. Cue the confetti. I'm here for you. Celebrate. Thanks a million. Sending my love. So this has some great sentiments on it. So I already, no I didn't. Here is our happy birthday. Now, if you'll notice, the others were real clear and white, I guess you would say. This one has been used before, so it does take on some of the ink, but it does not affect future stampings. And you can't, that will dry and or stain when you clean it, but it won't come off on anything else. I hope I made sense with that. Okay, here's our happy birthday. Always a good idea to check it out first. And I'm gonna eyeball this. So let's see if I got it pretty straight. Yay! Okay, close that up. Now let's put our card together, and you'll see just how simple this is. Okay, here is your gorgeous scrape. This is your card base. And I'm just going to give it a little crease there with my bone folder. And this, let's see if that's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. Okay. This was cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This one is a little bit smaller. It's cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And let's see, where did I was working with my sealers. Well, we'll go to Plan B. I don't see my tape runner, so I'm going to use our liquid glue. This is really good, especially for beginners, I think. Some people prefer to use it all the time. It's a white liquid glue. I store standing up so that most of the time it'll start right away without having to take a pin and open the hole. So I'm going to put this just along the edges. Doesn't have to be real pretty. And then some on the middle. And I am going to, and actually this was a scrap I had, and it was cut out using a frame die, so it's got a little decoration just around the edge. I didn't do that on this one, they were just plain. And I also, on the original, I went down 1/4 of an inch. So on this card, it's the basic layer of 4 by 5 1/4. And then this was 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, or by 5, I'm sorry, by 5. Okay, now I popped this up with dimensionals. I love dimensionals, and I do that a lot. And when you're using dimensionals, you don't have to go hog crazy and put them all over your card, although you will see some demonstrators that do that. But I find they're good enough that if you put them on the corners, and then if you are working with a large sheet, I always put one in the middle just to keep it from sinking. Okay, take those babies off, and I'm going to put it right, and it just barely fits in here. Okay, so you're not seeing as much of the Highland Heather as you did on this card, but it still shows a little bit. Now, you've got several options here. On this card, I used Daffodil Delight in our blends, but on maybe it was this card, I used Lemon Lolly, which is a little bit lighter. You can also decide to use some embellishments, which I think would be real pretty too. So it's up to you. For today, I'm just going to color that with my blend, Lemon Lolly Light. They squeak when you use them sometimes. Now, the last thing I wanted to do was to make a ribbon. Make a bow. So I don't think that's going to be long enough. So I'm going to take this one that was real long. You only need about, I think 12 inches would do you. And bunny ear, poke the ear up through the hole in the center. And then you can straighten it out. Oh, I hear the birds. We've had some really cold weather for us. It's been like below freezing for about 10 days, and we got another week of it coming, which excites me because I love the cold weather. Okay, I'm taking my ribbons, scissors, and I'm just cutting a diagonal cut right there. And I'm going to use a glue dot to hold that down. And these are our glue dots, and I find in most cases when it can be done, it's the easiest thing is to glue. Now let me see which side do I want to do. Still playing a little bit with that. But you just keep doing it until you got the size you want. And I think I like that little side a little bit better. So we'll use, I'm going to put my ribbon onto the glue dot. And it just peels right off. And stick it right there. Okay? So there you have your simple card. And remember, it's two-step stamping for the solid stamp of any set that's two-step. You're going to go with the lightest color first. The detailed color is going to go in the darker color. Now, do you have to stamp the solid one first and then do the dark? No, you can do it. You can mix it up. You can do the solid color. I'm not going to re-ink. Oops, I guess I have to. Let me show you. But it's just important that the detailed goes with the dark. The lighter goes with the solid. I'll show you how this looks. Okay, again, I'm finding my little pointed piece right there. And I'm going to ink it up with the Highland Heather. And I'm going to line it up. Okay, so see, it doesn't really matter. Let's compare that to this. Now, it's got to dry just a little bit. It'll lighten up slightly. But again, you can do it either way. My preference is to do the lighter and then the darker. But that's totally up to you. Now, for the inside of the card, I wanted to bring in that green, and this is a really cool leaf stamp that's with the same set, Petals of Beauty. And again, I'm just going to check it out. Okay. And I'm just going to put it down in the corner, kind of hanging off a little bit. Okay, that just gives you a little extra to add to your card. If you want to put another sentiment in there, you can always do that. And again, I'm going to be using my liquid glue. And here we go. And like I said, this is a standard layer. When your card folded is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, you're going to take off 1/4 inch on two sides. So it makes it 4 by 5 1/4. That way, when it's centered, you're going to have 1/8 inch all the way around. Okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to remind you of, do not send your cards without your John Henry on the back. These things are time consuming and we love doing it. And I want credit for it. So I am putting, now mine says my whole name, Laura, hand stamped by Laura Lee Collet, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Okay, so there is my signature, and so be sure to do that. Now listen, if you don't have a stamp that says hand stamped or made by or whatever, put your initials and put the date. And when I'm sending cards, generally, I will put the year up here. I quit trying to get everybody's birthday delivered to them on their day. It was making me crazy. So I'll just put the year up here, write a little note in there, and it's ready to go. Now, here is an envelope. And I'm also going to use that, let's see, my leaf stamp on my envelope. And I'm just going to do it down in the corner. You could do it on the back, however you want to do it. And the way I store these that have envelopes with them, I like to put the card like this. Get in there. And I fold the flat back, and then I store my cards in my container. That way, when I get this, I know this envelope goes with this card. Believe me, I have not paired them up like this, and I've got envelopes that I don't know what card they went to. So this is what I find works the easiest. So I hope that all of you out there are doing a lot of stamping. If there's anything I can do for you, you can reach me. The website's down at the bottom. Oops. Well, it didn't come over there. Maybe there. It's backwards on TV. Okay. Anyway, you can reach me at laura@stampingatthebirdnest.com. If you have questions or comments, I'll be glad to get back with you. And otherwise, you can just go to stampingatthebirdnest.com and you'll come to my web shop. You can do your your shopping there. And if any of you need a catalog, since the new mini catalog came out, let me know. I'll put it in the mail. I do charge shipping on that, but the catalog's free. Come back and see me next week. I've had so much fun with you today, and I hope that you will try some of this two-step stamping and see how fun it is. See you next week. I think I've ironed out all of my glitches with the YouTube, hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed. So stay bundled up. Come back and see me next week. Love you.